All right, I'm not going to think too hard about an intro because I was here for a second. I'm like, who cares? So, welcome to Movie Take Tuesday. This is the first video of an actual movie take review thing, whatever you want to call it. Tonight I watched Venom: The Last Dance, and oh yeah, we're just jumping straight into it. No ifs, ands, or buts. Um, And just a reminder, this is the first take, the only take, the unedited take. So let's jump into it. Let's Let me just preface things with I'm not gonna spoil this movie, okay? At this point in time for you guys, like I just watched this movie. You're gonna be seeing this about a week after I watched the movie, but that's just the beauty of recording. Anyway, Venom: The Last Dance was a great movie. I want to first give props to the opening scene because it was Noel, I believe the big bad guy's name was. I mean, he wasn't like the big main enemy, but he was the bad guy that was kind of leading the forces for the monster alien things. I don't really know, but the scene that opened was like, I mean, it was chills. It was just wow. I feel like it set the tone for the movie. Like it's sort of like because if you watch the first Venom movie, everyone really liked it, right? Because no one had any expectations, and it was just this like great story, and everyone liked Eddie Brock, Tom Hardy, and it was a good movie. And then the second one, like as with most sequels, kind of fall off a bit. Um, but I gotta say, this third one was I probably enjoyed it more than the first one because there was just it had a more interesting story. Like the idea behind it, right, is that again, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it might happen. I'm gonna try not to spoil anything. Um, Basically Eddie and Venom are getting hunted by I think they're called like symbiote hunters or um yeah, I think symbiote hunters. And first off, the symbiote hunter was this crazy looking thing. It well, I mean it looks like I guess it looks like your ever like everyday average alien, but the way it like well, this is YouTube, so unalived people was like it put them in its mouth and then it was like a meat grinder that just or no, it was like a wood chipper that just like spat out everything else out the back of its neck, which was like when it first happened, I like nearly crapped myself because I was like this is crazy, like cool crazy, but I mean some of you might not like that, but hey, it's a Marvel movie, so how bad can it be? Um so yeah, they're getting hunted by these things, symbiote hunters, and this is my first like note on the movie that I didn't particularly enjoy was how lame but awesome those hunters were. Lame because for being called like a symbiote hunter, it could only see Eddie and Venom when like Venom was like inhabiting his body, like the Avatar state, almost like full on, like mask on, suit up kind of thing. And, like, okay, that's, whatever. But it's like the moment that Venom, like, would retract back into Eddie, like, it just couldn't see him anymore. Which is kind of weird because, like, for something called a symbiote hunter, it's not very good at hunting symbiotes, right? If it can, and like, you may think, oh, like, that's because it's inhabiting Eddie. There was, and I'm not like I said, they established it pretty early on, but I'm still not gonna spoil it. There's something special about Eddie and Venom when they're transformed. Okay, that makes these hunters see them because later on in the movie, when there's more symbiotes that are, inhabiting someone, it still can't see them, which it's like unless they were attacking him, like it didn't just like fight blindly. Like if it was getting attacked, it like fought back. But it was just one of those things where it's like it's not very good at its job, but it was also unkillable pretty much, and was like this crazy thing that could jump. I don't know. It was nuts, but also kind of weird. So that was the first like that's my first thing on the movie of like my first like point down from this arbitrary scale I have for rating movies. Um, so as the movie goes on, they're kind of trying to evade those things, and there's like this fun little story about, and like you see it throughout where like Eddie kind of looks and sees things that like remind him of a life he could have had without Venom. Which was kind of nice. It was like you see the human side of him, right? Because it's a lot of these superhero esque movies. It's like, oh, they have these powers and everything's amazing. Like there is nothing bad. There is no downsides. But what I love about Venom and what I loved about the first movie that translated into this movie is that you never look at Eddie and go, he's this super cool superhero, right? He's a dude infected by a parasite that is trying to survive. And the movie does a fantastic job of portraying that, which I mean I really liked it. Props to Tom Hardy, he did so good, and props to a lot of the other actors that were in it. They Everyone did a really good job. The acting was great. I never really had moments that were like I don't know. Like when you're watching a movie and then some scene happens and it just kind of takes you out of the movie for a sec because you're just like, what was that? Right? There really wasn't any of that in Venom. Ooh, okay, I lied. Just just a fib. There is one kind of scene, and it's Eddie makes it to a casino. Again, I'm not going to spoil anything, so I'm going to be super vague about everything. Meets up with someone he's seen before, and it's just this kind of weird interaction. And they have this kind of dance scene. Like, I think the woman's name is Miss Chun from the first movie. Oh, I hope I'm saying that right, because otherwise it would look really bad. Um, she's from the first movie. She was like the grocery slash convenience store lady that like knew Eddie had Venom, and like they have this dance scene, and here's the thing, right? Venom is terrified of these symbiote hunters because he knows exactly where they are. He knows their origin. He knows what they can do. Eddie gets told this by Venom, but still, it's like Eddie doesn't have the same level of like fear. It's like if someone told you to be scared of something, it's like, oh well, they seem terrified, so I guess I should be scared. But it's also one of those things where you don't know why you should be scared, so you're not really that scared. So all this to say, and remember, these things only see them if they transform and like Venom takes over the body and becomes like big suit up Venom guy. And Venom wants to dance with Miss Chun in his Venom form to like, and Eddie warns him like, hey, like we're gonna get seen, and Venom's like, I don't care. But it was established earlier on that like Venom's terrified of these things, so why doesn't he care? I don't know. That was like the one thing where I'm just like, I don't really get it. Um, but I mean, I guess the second thing, but uh, that was about it for like things I didn't like about the movie. I mean, the rest of it was awesome. I mean, I love the movies where like the main character never becomes like this kick butt character. Eddie Brock looks like a dude who just came off of like a 3 day like what's it called? A 3 day bender. There we go. Again, I'm not gonna cut this out because that's just how it goes. He looks like he came off a 3-day bender the entire movie, and I love that. I love that so much. Now, why? It's just something about it. It feels like an actual movie. Like or how should I explain this? Of course, it's a movie. It feels like a movie. It feels like an actual story. It feels like, ooh, here we go. Let me rephrase and let me take back everything that was said previously. It doesn't feel like a movie. It feels like you're watching a dude in a crappy situation try and figure his way out through it. And I love movies like that. Um, and so you know, I really enjoyed that aspect of it. So yeah, I mean, that's that was great. So let's see, let's continue on. Other things I really enjoyed. I don't know if I said this already. The opening scene, chilling. So if I already said that, I apologize. I'm gonna move on because there were some great scenes like from the trailer. If anyone watched the trailer, there's like a horse that he rides, and that scene did not disappoint. Oh, that reminds me, dude, the movie was so funny. There were like there were some comments and lines from Eddie that were just like delivered so well that probably weren't meant to be funny, or maybe they were, but without the delivery of the line, it just wouldn't have hit the same. And so it was like stuff like that is great. Yeah, it was funny too. This movie has a lot of great things about it, and only a very minimal amount of of like negative comments I have towards it. Some of you might not agree with this, which is fine. I encourage you to type, write, say something about it um, in the comments if you feel so inclined to do so, because I love discussion. And if you have different notes and different takes, I encourage them, and I will do my best to respond to them. But moving on, uh, kind of getting near the end of the movie, it 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 wraps everything up very well. It definitely is the last Venom movie. I won't tell you why, but I have high hopes for what this movie will lead into, especially for Sony. Um, which reminds me, there is a post credits scene right after like the initial credits. Um, so stick around for that, and then like the old days of Marvel movies, there's a post credit scene. Now, I did not understand it at all. I maybe it wasn't supposed to be understood. Maybe there is no deeper meaning, but it didn't make any sense at all. But if you're into that kind of thing, stick around and watch it, and maybe you'll understand it because my pea brain couldn't. I don't know. Maybe you're smarter than I am. You probably are. I'm not that smart. So I mean, I started a YouTube channel where I don't edit videos. How smart is that? So, oh man, what am I thinking? Okay, I don't know how long this video has been going on for. I really need to get a timer so I can know how long I've been recording for. But I really think I've said my piece on the Venom movie. Oh, I gotta give it a rating. So I scored out of 10 based on pretty much just my own enjoyment of the movie. So with Venom, I'm giving it a very strong 8 out of 10. Now, do I really think it deserves an 8 out of 10? Probably not. But I enjoyed the movie. And I rate these movies on how I enjoy them. And I enjoyed it. So don't look at me like that, all right? Don't maybe you watch the movie and you're like that was horrible. How could he possibly give it an 8 out of 10? Because I liked it. All right? Don't at me. Or do. I don't really care. All right, I encourage the conflict. So, well, that was a lot of eye contact. I'm sorry. Boy, I should really wrap this one up. It is getting late and I am tired. So, thank you for sticking around this long if you did. Um, I really appreciate it. Please, if you made it this far, it means you enjoyed something of it. So like, subscribe, please. I'm starting out. Even if you don't even if you never even watched the rest of my videos, please, I just to subscribe would be super helpful. Or don't. It's, this is a hobby. So if it pans out, it pans out, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. But yeah, 8 out of 10 on the movie. I encourage you to go watch it, especially if you've seen the other two movies and the second movie left you with a lot to be desired. So, I mean, I think that's really all I have for you guys. Have a good week, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Peace.